Meet the Mathewsons. They're a dynasty of dealers.
It drives really well.
With a love of classics.
It's only condensation.
In Thornton-le-Dale, gateway to the North York Moors, they auction over 2,000 rare vehicles every year.
42,000, the ready type, the stunning car.
All walks of life. The cars fetch people together.
I'm ecstatic.
Head of the family, Derek.
It's got to be the best job ever, isn't it? We're sort of living a dream.
Trusted lieutenants, sons Paul
Not everybody's cup of tea.
and Dave.
There's Dad's way, and there's Dad's way.
Keeping them all in check and dealing with the punters, Sarah.
Somebody could ring today with some fabulous vehicle that's been sat in a barn for 50 years. You have no clue.
It's the chase, it's finding it. So you get up every morning thinking, what am I going to find today?
This is a family's love affair with cars that have lived a life.
Someone's cherished a car and loved it, and I think it's just great. I think it's absolutely superb.
A passion that can be turned into brass. On sale this week.
Excalibur, what a car.
It's a magnificent thing, isn't it?
Belonged to Roy Orbison, you know. When he sings, he looks as though he's maybe straining a bit, but he's actually not.
Austin 7.
Everything that you can see, we've made.
They're every enthusiast's ideal of a classic car, aren't they?
Remote control tanks.
You wonder where a lot of stuff went missing, General Patton. You obviously got it, didn't you? Is that a Tiger?
It's the start of another busy week at the garage, and Sarah's internet helpline is open for business.
Have you got a smartphone? Yeah, so in your Google bar, you need to Google Mathewsons, and then you can have a little look and see on there. Then you might get really excited.
Several times a year, cars come in from specialist renovators.
Stunning condition.
The really dedicated start with a rusty shell and put in the hours.
It looks worse than what it is.
And sometime later, a car is born, emerging pristine and ready for the auction.
It's all really, really nice.
Today, Derek is heading up to County Durham to collect a rather unusual nut and bolt restoration that is ready to roll out of its garage. With a more than affectionate childhood nod towards Noddy, this 1935 Austin 7 Ulster has been rebuilt by mechanic Andrew Peel.
Not a lot in there, is there? 7 horsepower, was it?
I think that's what they were originally designed for, hence the Austin 7 bit. So I don't think they went very fast in the 1920s and 30s, but the roads weren't very good then, were they? So I suppose it was quite adequate, really.
We weren't in a rush then, were we?
They didn't have to be, I don't think, no.
The 7 was always known as a car for the mechanically minded enthusiast of fettle, but Andrew has taken fettling to another level.
All modern internals in there with a new distributor, modern 12-volt electrics to keep you up with the modern lighting and stuff, which it's all got. It's been in bits as the engine, stripped down, inspected, so yes, a bit more reliable.
I have to say, the biggest thing under the bonnet looks to be the horn.
Yes.
Andrew has handmade most of the bits and pieces that make up this car.
We've made all the substructure underneath here, and then we've made all the bonnet, the radiator grille, the wings, the interior we've done, the trim. Everything that you can see we've made, barring the wheels and tyres and the headlights. This is made in 5 sections, I think, if I remember rightly. It's got a seam down here, and the same at this side. There'll be a seam up here, and then there's a seam up the back end. So there will be 5 panels altogether in the back end. Everything's made in sections and gas welded together, and then smoothed over when we get to them in the English wheel to take all the lumps and bumps out.
That's no mean feat, is it, to make that?
It took a bit of practice to get used to it.
How many back ends have you had to make then?
Well, we have a few disasters, but that's all part of the fun, isn't it, of making something like this. It's what I enjoy doing. Try again. And hopefully it'll turn out that's something that somebody would want to buy. Or, yes, somebody would be proud of. I'm certainly proud of it.
Andrew is a restorer whose passion is winning the engineering battle. It's more important than the car.
I don't particularly like them. These don't go very fast, they don't stop very well, and they don't steer very well. They're just not designed for today's traffic, so I think I'll stick with my modern-ish car.
How much is that, 5?
Derek's arrived, but he's gone straight for the half-finished Bentley in the corner of the workshop. All being well, it should end up like this.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it, yeah. Yeah, that's about it, exactly, yeah. And are you going to make the frame out of inch box or ash?
And then I'm going to put a fabric body on it.
That's right, yeah. Yeah, that'll do me, a fabric body. I quite like a fabric body. I never used to, but I do now.
The Austin 7 Ulster is a very different car, but the craftsmanship is top drawer.
Nice body, nice shape.
Thank you.
Beautiful, isn't it? Now you've got to know what you're doing with that, haven't you? And he's made a nice job of it.
But Austin 7s, in this form or any other, are not everyone's idea of a driver's car.
Does it go okay?
I've never driven it.
No, I wouldn't either. No.
Outside the door, turn it round and brought it back in again.
Yeah.
And that's about as far as I want to drive it, to be honest with you.
Dreadful car, worst car on the road ever produced, I think.
They don't start, they don't stop,
No.
They don't steer, they don't do a lot of things.
They don't do anything, you're absolutely right, except break down. But no, we used to sell low-end little box 7s and things, and we used to beg people not to buy them. Oh.
You've got to really want one, and you've got to know what you're buying.
You have. And there I am, I'm saying, and I've got an Austin Swallow. A little Swallow
It's the same thing, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not to say I drive it, is it? But I mean, I like looking at it.
Well, that's it. I think this is a lovely thing to look at.
Great,
But
isn't
no, I've no interest in driving it whatsoever.
No, me neither, no.
Derek's also taking a couple of other cars while he's here.
I've made it out at 1.6 mil. It's like bending girders.
Yeah.
This first one has a 1930s Armstrong Siddeley chassis, a Jaguar engine and a Bentley body.
If the wedding market was doing what it was doing before everyone started getting married at hotels, which is what's killed it, isn't it? And guys are sick and tired of the aggravation with wedding stuff, this would have sold really well for the wedding business, wouldn't it? I mean, let's be fair, it would have done really, really well. At the moment, I'll be perfectly honest, I think it'll do well to do 12 grand.
Right.
The next, a more pedigreed Triumph Herald, 1360 from 1968.
There's no real way why it should do any more than 3.5 to 4, but it might just do a bit more. It might do. You know, it's sellable enough, isn't it? It's bright enough.
Oh, it's a tidy enough little thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's all right, mate, yeah. Yeah, straight up.
Derek's trying out his new trailer for the first time today.
Whoa, steady. Yeah, bang on, steady on. Hurry up.
It's been designed with wide track modern cars in mind, so touch and go for the Ulster.
I think it's 10 feet.
Luckily, he's brought his trusted measuring tools.
3.5. 3 and a bit. That'll go on there.
Well, that's good news. However, Derek's decided that he won't attempt to drive the temperamental Austin up the ramps. Instead, he's commandeered some local muscle.
Yep, steer it, mate. Steer it. That's it. Get it steered. Oh, steady on. We all right? Yeah, carry on. Yep. Yeah, lovely, lovely.
All right.
Thanks, lads. Very good of you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well done, chaps.
Andrew's hoping to get 15 grand for the Ulster. It's expected to cause a big stir at the auction.
Massive interest. There's a big following for them. They're every, at least novices enthusiasts, ideal of a classic car, aren't they? So we shouldn't really knock them because they sell well.
Mathewsons are not big on window dressing.
Yeah, great.
The front of house showroom is currently storing all the memorabilia that Derek has accepted for the auction.
Super. Where did I get to?
I sell 95% of the memorabilia that comes in, but if there's like the other 5% that causes absolutely no interest whatsoever, then very often I'll buy it, but only maybe 4 or 5 lots out of every sale out of 350 lots. So I mean, it's very little, really minimal. There's a good little lot. Got a load of tyres in there. Very useful. Very, very handy, because the amount of vehicles now you have come in without tyres, don't you?
Each item has to be registered and given a lot number.
King of the road. That should be like a badge for Derek. He thinks he's king of the road. I'll tell you what, this guy's house must be really empty now because he's basically taken everything out of his house. It's all here in boxes.
Unfortunately, more is arriving. Ex-military kits is not unusual here, but it is rare for 26 to turn up in one batch.
Look at that.
Alan Dredd's lucky wife inherited these from her uncle. They've decided to let someone else enjoy them.
He's got his own army. Hey, General Patton. He wondered where a lot of stuff went missing, General Patton. You obviously got it, didn't you? Is that a tiger?
I don't know what that one is.
You don't see too many of these on the road now, do you?
Derek's fighting a losing battle. Tanks, not his division.
You could always advertise it on the internet as a tank sale. Take a picture of one or two, and you get them all expecting to see like 65 tonner, wouldn't you?
We just really want them out the way.
What are we going to do about reserves and guides and things like that?
I don't know where they are.
Whatever you think, really.
Battle plans are drawn for Alan's family heirlooms. They're moving out. The troops are not impressed. Morale is low.
Trying to find a tank which links to the right remote. Whether it works or not, I don't know. No.
Send for reinforcements.
Power.
From behind enemy lines, Commander Charlie Mathewson takes control. Sorting the men from the boys.
I do have a remote control tank, yeah. Mine fires little tiny balls. But they actually hurt.
Have you ever shot anybody with them?
Yeah.
Who was shot?
Dad. He didn't like that.
And with Charlie's help, the battle to get the tanks ready to sell is won. Yeah, almost. Auction day. Wall-to-wall classics and a decent turnout of prospective buyers.
Just wait for the old classics, just the old type of vintage delivery vans and trucks. The person that collected these was actually had a good eye for them.
It's kind of like a step back in time, isn't it?
Yes, just different day, easier time.
On the slate today, 2 rare cars that Derek recently collected. The 1935 Austin 7 Ulster and the Triumph Herald 1360 from 1968. Roy Bacon had one of these when he was 35. Happy days.
We wanted a nice car, so we saw this one. It's very good, very good. Oh, it's lovely, yeah.
Some things don't change.
Doors don't shut very well.
But £7,000 has been spent on it, and she's ready to go.
The upholstery's nice, been done. It's a lovely looking car.
1968 Triumph Herald 1360. Bonnie car, nice bright car this. Start me on that. Where? 3, 3,000, 3,2, 3,4, 3,6, 3,6. Going then, 3,600 outside. 3,006. 3,006, you're out inside, I'm doing it outside, 3,600, are you sure you're all done, 3,600, last time, 3,600, you're missing another, 3,006, well done, sir.
Highest bidder, regular flyer, Mark Springett. After a chat with the owner, the Herald sells for a respectable £4,000. One down, one to go, as attentions turn to the Austin 7 Ulster.
Very unusual.
It's like when you was a child at the fairground, you used to go on them little cars, and it reminds me a bit of that.
Sarah would normally go for something tasty, like a 74 Hillman Avenger in safari beige. But this one has caught her eye.
Pretty cool, isn't it? It's very, very cute. It's tidgy, but it says a lot.
What does it say?
Well, it just says coolness, doesn't it? Hey, look at me. I'm a little car.
It's very bonny. That's the only way I could describe it.
For Mark Holtby, seeing this car brought back some great memories.
My father was in the Royal Signals in the Army, and he was sent to India in 1933. And I have a photograph of my dad sat like this in his Austin 7, just like this one, with his pith helmet on. As soon as I saw this car, I just reminded me of my dad. That's the trouble with coming to these auctions. You might finish up bidding for something you didn't intend to, because you see something you're not expecting to see, and your sort of heart rolls your head, doesn't it? So yeah, I'm quite impressed with it.
The little Austin 7, super little thing based on a ruby, as you can see. Start me on it. Bidder number 8034. Do not bid against yourself. Where going to be? Where? 1,000, 1,100, 1,100, 12. Sorry, 1,100. 11,000 we're doing. You know that, don't you? Yeah, good show. Yeah, that's all right, man. Sorry, it's me. Yeah, sorry. 11,000. 11,000 here. 11,000 pounds. 12 I've got. 12,000 I've got. 12,000. 12,000. You want 5? 12,000 I've got. 12,500. 12,500. 12,500. Standing. You're outstanding. I'm out. 12,500. 12,500 in front of me. You're out the back. 12,500. Are you sure you're all done? 12,500. 12,500.
Well done, 23-year-old Ben Doyle, now the owner of the 85-year-old Ulster.
Honestly, I've never been in a car quite so small but comfortable. I didn't think I'd fit in it. Coming up from Essex, I did have to do about 280 miles. Came the night before, even with the cost of the hotel. No matter what, to get a car like this, definitely worth the trip. Absolutely fantastic auction today. I mean, this car is really unique. Everything from the bodywork to the colour scheme, the interior is perfect.
Ben could claim to be part of a new wave of classic car owners, keeping motoring traditions alive.
Personally, I love classic cars because I can understand how they work, I can take them apart, I can have as much fun with them as I want, and they're also stunning. Every classic car is unique, they look totally different. There are so many cars today that look the exact same that you wouldn't know them without the badge. And I have such a passion for classic cars because they moved everything forwards. It was an industry that just changed every single day. I've never driven any car like this, and the minute I get it home, it's going to be on the road. I can't wait.
Mathewsons sell hundreds of beautiful vehicles every month. Some have 6 wheels, most have 4, and a fair number have 2.
Bicycles, yeah, a bit different. If you want to know about curly Hitchins, I'm your girl.
But there's another category of single-wheeled bolt-on accessory that is often overlooked. Combination, outfit, rig, hack. Affectionate names for the motorcycle sidecar. And there is clearly an art to going around corners without tipping over.
Not so bad when you got her indoors, you know, as long as she goes over 20 stone and she's sat on in the sidecar, you're as safe as houses. But when you've got nobody in there, totally different riding technique.
We don't know why we drive old motorcycles, nor does a person know why he drives a horse. We just like it.
It was back in 1893 a French newspaper offered a prize for inventing an alternative method of carrying a passenger on a motorbike. Army officer Jean Bertoux nailed the sidecar design. They haven't really changed much since. Even though they're way too early for the next auction, Roger Malpass, Sue Hugill and Dexter the dog have already set up camp in their motorhome.
We've got a classic BMW motorbike and sidecar that we're selling. I've always had motorbikes all my life, but I'd never ridden a motorbike and sidecar, so I thought, oh, this sounds like a bit of a challenge.
The combo in question is a 1979 BMW R80, seamlessly paired to an unusually stylish sidecar.
When we first got together, we did Route 66 across America, which was 2,300 miles on a Harley Davidson. But then along come Dexter, so the motorbike and sidecar seemed like a good idea then.
But unfortunately, Dexter was barking mad about it not being big enough for him to lie down. Roger and Sue decided they need to find an alternative bike with a more dog-friendly sidecar.
It's got to go, has it?
It has got to go,
Sadly.
yes, because of room.
I'm really upset about selling it because it does have a special place in my heart.
We've priced it at 3,500 upwards. We're hoping for good things from the motorbike and sidecar.
At the garage, there's a bit of a shift around going on. From Chevettes to Corniche, space is being made for one of the most flamboyant cars to ever grace the concrete bit of the Mathewsons showroom.
Look at that.
This outrageous machine is an Excalibur roadster from 1970. It was the brainchild of Studebaker designer Brooks Stevens, who wanted to produce a 1930s-looking car, but with 60s tech. Styled on the classic Mercedes SSK, which itself was designed by Ferdinand Porsche, it's a replica car with a huge pedigree and a small block V8. The rich and famous fell for their Hollywood glamour. They cost a small fortune, but they are no toy. Well made, with an engine that sings to a very American tune.
Well, let's be fair, it's kind of got all the right bits, hasn't it? You know, a big burbling V8, a great big chassis, about as heavy as a truck, triple wipers, you know. You don't see sports cars with triple wipers, do you?
But what separates this car from the crowd isn't just its power and styling. It's the presence given to it by the man who owned it first. The Excalibur's original owner was Roy Orbison.
It's a magnificent thing, isn't it? You know, if you're into something a bit flash and a bit different, there it is, isn't it?
And
Great.
the provenance will make a difference to somebody.
It will to someone. Quite and a half.
The Big O liked his cars and bikes and had an impressive collection, just like the Big D.
Here we are, mate. But she looks big now she's out, don't she? Isn't she a big wide thing? Aye, cracking looking old bus, isn't it? Do you like it?
It's beautiful.
Isn't it just, yeah. Belonged to Roy Orbison, you know.
I know.
Yeah, he bought it new, yeah.
Whether a famous former owner adds value depends on the level of fame, and Roy is adding value.
He drove it all night, that.
When he was crying.
Yeah, yeah. I drove it all night to get to you.
Are you a Roy Orbison fan?
I do like Roy Orbison. Yeah. Music.
Not his car.
Oh, I like his car
as well.
Yeah.
But you need the paperwork. Provenance is everything, and Derek's all over it.
Excalibur since 1964. This vehicle was purchased by Roy Orbison from Excalibur Sales Incorporated, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 14th of August 1970. How about that?
So it's the real deal?
It's the real deal.
Are you a big fan?
I am, big fan. When he sings, he looks as though he's maybe straining a bit, but he's actually not. It's just the way he is, you know. And I've heard him sing some ballads. Brilliant, you know.
A reserve has been agreed with the owners.
Submit the best bid with an indication that it's got to be above 15.
But the spirit of Roy will play a part, and he could be higher.
Where would he have been cruising down in this? Where would he have been with this then?
According to his dress here, it was Tennessee, wasn't it, I think, somewhere, but I would imagine he must have spent most of his time on the West Coast, wouldn't he? Cruising about of an evening time, with his glasses on, in disguise. Yeah, he didn't want to stand out at all, so he thought he'd just take the Excalibur. So no one would take any notice, would they, of a beautiful white Excalibur driving down the West Coast Highway or whatever it's called with someone that looks like Roy Orbison in it with a pair of sunglasses. It's who would have bothered looking? Oh, yeah.
With things more or less under control before the next auction, a rare sight. Paul and the family having some time off.
Come on. Here we are, look.
It needs motivation to drag Paul away from work. Fortunately, there's plenty of it here today.
Sharp, got a bit of traffic on the corner there.
The wonderful steam-driven machines at the Yorkshire Traction Engine Rally at Scampston Hall near York will get many enthusiast flywheels spinning.
Oh, he's down there, Mr. Turner.
Paul can't help getting stuck in.
Is it Peter?
Yeah, it's Peter.
Paul Mathewson, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. Yeah. Charlie, my lad.
Hello, thank you. Nice to meet you.
Here she is, eh?
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's shining.
Absolutely, busy cleaning.
Yeah, there's always plenty to do. It's 1913, originally for the fairground. Total nut and bolt rebuild.
Right.
And she's in a form of glory now.
Many of these magnificent engines, large and small, are in steam for the Grand Parade. And Paul's been invited to take the helm.
You're the main man today, Paul. Right for right, Paul.
Right for right. Well, you have to do some turns, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, she's lovely though, isn't she?
The Yorkshireman, in all its glory, all 10 tons of it.
Angie's just shot off down the bottom there. She's just going to do some steering and do a lap of the arena. And then I've been asked to steer the front engine on the little road train over there.
Even Charlie's been let loose on some heavy metal.
How was that? Fabulous. Can't hear a thing, my ears are ringing, splattered in oil. But overall, what a magnificent thing. You know, they are magical, they're special. The power in there is just unbelievable, yeah. Brilliant. I'm right pleased, yeah, lovely day. And I think a fabulous day's been had, really, yeah.
Playtime over. It's auction day, and an important one at that. Roy Orbison's car won't sell itself.
You're looking at a piece of history, aren't you?
It's absolutely amazing. Amazing car.
If I had the money, that'd go home with me.
The vendor Stacey Turnbull is here, with husband Will.
That's my last chance to be in it, really.
Her parents, Aidan and Pamela, bought this car in Miami.
It was my dad's, yes. He bought it in America at an auction. He's always been a massive fan of Roy Orbison. And apparently I was especially sat in this. That's what my dad was told at the auction as well.
Yeah, because they were friends.
Because they were friends.
Stacey's mum and dad passed away last year. Keeping the car isn't an option.
And we just don't have the space. We couldn't even get it in our garage.
Too big.
Yeah, it's too wide.
Yeah.
I just hope someone who will appreciate it, you know, and carry it on. Just hoping it does well.
Yeah.
Excalibur, what a car. Who's Roy Orbison? I'm joking, I think he's the greatest singer ever lived. I think he's fantastic. 1970, start me on it, there we are. 15, 5, 16, 5, 16,500, 17,500, 17,500, 18, 18,000, 18. Is the 5 anywhere? 18, 18,500. Find another one. Find another one like this. You never will you? 18,500. 19, Jack's phone, 19. 19,500, 19,500. Jack's phone, 20. Yep, 20,500, Meg's phone. 21, 21,000, Jack's phone, 21. 21,000, sold and gone. 21,500, 21,500, Meg's phone. You've got to buy it, you never find another, will you? 22, 22,000, 22,500, 22,500, she says. Meg's phone, are you sure you're done? Thank you very much for your bidding. 23,500, thank you very much. And that wants a round of applause. Well done. 23,500. Well done. 23,500.
A phone bidder bags the Excalibur. The car will soon be on its way down south for a bit of fettling. After that, the mighty 5.7 litre engine will be fired up and it will be let loose on the roads of Kent. At Mathewsons, the auction process is fairly straightforward. Punters arrive in Thorns and the Dale, demolish some cream teas, peruse the classics on offer.
Absolutely lovely. She's gorgeous, isn't she?
And quite often, leave with the car of their dreams. However, some auctions in 2020 were a bit different for obvious reasons.
Jolly good.
So the Armstrong Siddeley, with its Bentley body and Jaguar engine, found its new owner by a different method.
Testing, testing.
Behind closed doors, Derek had to face his greatest fear: technology.
Bear with us a little bit. This is not our strongest point. We're fairly new to this.
And address his audience through a webcam.
Now we're going to try and be sure it doesn't crash, but apparently we need more gigabytes. Well, I've been out all day and I can't get anywhere, so we're just going to make do with what we've got.
Phone bids were still accepted, but for the time being, most cars were being sold through live online auctions.
7,500 is the 7,750.
The Siddeley/Jaguar/Bentley eventually went for 10 grand, and the new owner could not be happier.
When I saw it, I thought, well, if I don't buy this, I'll never get one.
Tony Clough from Manchester has harboured thoughts about a Bentley Speed 6 for many years.
When I was a kid, talking like the 1950s, I thought, oh, that's the car I'm going to go for when I get some money in that. But of course, the price of Bentleys was always zooming off in front of me, you know.
An original could sell for anything above $500,000, but this reproduction is a good second best for Tony.
I'm not bothered about it being exactly right as a Bentley. The average person, I don't think, can tell that that's a built car. And this has got a Jag 2.8 engine in it, which I like. Been rewired. All the engine parts have got new parts on. Brakes, the cables, he's done a hell of a lot of work on it.
But there's one modification that's been added to the list.
Getting in and out of one of these is absolutely murder. Of course, it wants a door on. They copied the racing Bentleys, and they didn't have a door on the right-hand side because to stop you falling out. People today don't understand it, and even I'm struggling driving it now. Driving was a totally different thing. It was like going to the gym, shall we say. You can only turn your wheels when your car's actually moving. But when I get in that car, it takes me back to the 1960s. It's everything I wanted.
In other news, The collection of remote-controlled tanks that arrived at the garage
You don't see too many of these on the road now, do you?
hit the target on auction day.
170 this side, selling £170 in the red, 170. 170.
Tim Winstanley nabs himself a job lot of 4 plus a Jeep.
I collect them. I've got about 300 small ones. These are my first larger ones. Got a Mark 1 Tiger here, but you don't see them with the anti-mine coating on that often.
If military models are your thing, well, this batch was a bargain.
Individually, you're looking at 75 to 200 quid each, depending on them, so I'd say it's pretty good.
As for the Mercedes SS-inspired Excalibur, it's had a couple of months of light restoration down in Kent.
Looks good, eh?
And today, new owner David South and his daughter Joanne have arrived to pick it up from mechanic Luke King.
How'd you get on?
Yeah, it's all good. It's all ready to go. New brakes, calipers as you can see, new hoses.
We did some new chroming here, didn't we?
Yeah, we've had these top arms chromed.
Yeah.
Just because they're on show, it's better, looks better.
David has a collection of high-end cars.
Yes, yeah.
But the provenance of this one sets it apart from the rest.
Knowing that it was Roy Orbison's just makes it a little bit more special. This was obviously a car he loved. It's done 44,000, 45,000 miles, so it has been used. There's still a plate on the back that says Roy Orbison. I should be taking it off really, but I think I'm going to leave it.
Roy specced up some 70s bookshelf speakers to listen to his cassettes on. But another quirky standard fitting has been revealed.
We found that the petrol tank was in fact a big rubber bag made by Dunlop, obviously built as a petrol tank, which I think they do a bit in boats and things like that. But Luke's managed to get a proper aluminium tank put in its place.
It's got new exhaust manifolds because they're all blowing.
Okay.
So they're all done, it sounds good. So yeah, that's where we're at with the car, ready for you to take.
Drives all right? You've had it up and down the road a bit?
Yeah, it drives lovely.
Does it make a lot of noise? That's what I want to know.
Yes, it does make lots of noise.
David knows what to expect.
I do have another Excalibur, believe it or not. It's a much bigger car than this in size. It's a 4-seater. It was made specifically as a present from the US Navy for the governor of the Philippines, for allowing them to have their warships and things there after the war. It was built from 12-gauge battleship steel, so consequently weighs 5.5 tonnes. It's like trying to stop an oil tanker.
Excalibur number 2 has had about £5,000 worth of renovation done to it so far. The original 50-year-old Chevy V8 needed next to no attention.
It sounds great, and you can just tell from the throttle that it's really waiting to get a shift on. It has power steering, but you've got to be able to drive it, not just sit behind the wheel and steer it. I know we should be thinking of environmental electric cars and all that kind of stuff, but they do little mileage, and it's just that childhood dream, really. I'm very lucky of 9 grandchildren, and they're all taking turns of picking which car they want when I'm gone. So no one's picked this one yet, but I'm expecting one of them to.
Another successful lot at the auction eventually found its way to Hessel, near Hull. Ex-Vulcan bomber engineer Chris Thompson and his partner Celia Boys managed to pick up the BMW R80 for £4,550. But it was the elegant sidecar that won them over.
The aesthetics of it are, I suppose, a bit like a Spitfire wing. People that know nothing at all about a Spitfire would look at it and say, oh, that looks nice.
When I first saw the bike, it just seemed to be something that was waiting to be bought. It was just lovely to look at. I don't know whether you can call a sidecar beautiful, but I felt that it was.
The previous owners reluctantly parted with the sidecar combo because it wasn't big enough for their terrier Dexter. Celia doesn't see a problem.
There's plenty of space in the sidecar. You get your bottom in and get sat down, and then you've got room to shuffle around. I could even read a book if I needed to, you know, if I got really bored.
I think that any motorbike gives you a sense of freedom. It gives you a sense of what perhaps things were like some years ago, whereas a car insulates you.
It's always an adventure when we go out. You're bumping around, and it's quite scary at times because you're very close to the ground. And not only that, you've got to remember to always wear an earplug because you get lots of noise from the engine. But that doesn't seem to matter. You're just out in the fresh air, and it's lovely.
So that's Celia and Chris sorted. But what about Dexter, the motorcycling dog?
We decided that we'd buy another bike and sidecar, an even bigger one this time.
It's big, all right. It's a 900cc Triumph Thunderbird in Pacific Blue, with a matching top-of-the-range Watsonian GP700 custom-built wide-bodied sidecar.
I love this bike even better because there's more room for him, because he can actually sit beside me because there's a double sidecar.
Dexter ready with goggles and everything, yes?
Our high-maintenance Parson Russell Terrier has got himself an epic retro ride with a £7,000 dog basket attached to it.
This one's got a lot more weather protection with it. Not so much about Sue, but Dexter will be protected from any elements.
I really feel comfortable in it. I feel really safe in it. It puts a smile on everybody's face.
He would be very disappointed if we went out in a bike and sidecar without him. He expects to come with us all the time now, yeah.